Concordia on Air. I'm Jackson.
And I'm Michael. And on tonight's show,
Great Salt Lake turns to dust.
And we'll tell you more about the esports on campus.
And in Arts and Entertainment, 2022, a year in review.
and an interview with Olivia. Let's stay with her.
All that and more on Concordia on Air. It's Wednesday, starring Jenna Ortega.
That was so good. Solid. Perfect. Is our last show before next sem?
Yes, it feels like we just got back from last break, and we're going away again.
What do you guys do on Wednesday nights when you're not watching Court on Air? I can't imagine. I don't know what I would be doing if I wasn't here.
Well, they likely watch Wednesday, starring Jenna Ortega.
God, are you a Jenna Ortega super fan?
Yes.
Oh, I guess we were talking about this before the show. Jenna Ortega is not just Wednesday Addams.
She's also the new star of the Scream franchise. She shows up in exactly half of X. I counted. She
Minute by
shows up
minute.
for 2 scenes in the Foo Fighters film, Studio 666.
Banger film.
Yeah, she's in other things.
She's in season 2 of You. She
Season
did very
2 of
well
You.
in that role. I couldn't finish that show though. It gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Mikey felt too close to the guy in You.
That was slanderous. That was slanderous.
He didn't deny it.
Oh my lord. Yeah, no, we should move past this. We shouldn't talk anymore.
He's not denying it.
As we go on, we remember. Last show of 2022. Christmas concerts just happened this weekend.
Yes.
And they're happening tomorrow
Again.
night and Friday.
In the cities, though, so you're
yeah.
going to have to commute. So if you missed it here, you're going to have to drive 4 hours just like everybody else
Yeah.
to see it again.
Or if you live in the cities, you probably really hard to get tickets at this point. Aren't the tickets it's like a hot commodity?
Probably. I
Like
don't know.
sold
I've
out,
never tried to
probably?
buy the tickets in the cities because I don't live in
Yeah.
the cities when the concert is happening.
Neither do I. I live in Moorhead.
So do I.
Wow.
There's more ahead.
More ahead. Speaking of Moorhead, it was like -4 this morning.
That's true.
My
And
mustache was frozen by the time I got to Olin.
It got even colder as well. I forgot my hat this morning, and I was like,
The ears, Jackson, earsicles.
They were like dry and like, I thought they were going to die. They were going to fall off my head.
I kind of thought that too, actually, when I was walking back home past. I didn't know that President Kraft actually lives in that house.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
The roof like has a weird like warp to it. I noticed it like because I live on the 3rd floor of Boggs East,
Yeah.
so whenever I leave the building, I can see like his roof, and it's like warped.
Roof. Roof. So I got distracted.
There's
There's more to say.
not far to go for news.
News.
Thank you, Jackson and Mikey. Welcome to the news desk. My name is Andy.
And I'm Kay. For the first story, the Great Salt Lake turns to dust. In October, the water levels in the Great Salt Lake reached their lowest point. The lake bed was exposed in many areas, and giant dust swarms with toxic metals are now becoming a threat to those who live near the lake. This could lead to higher levels of air pollution for Salt Lake City and could seriously affect the 2.5 million residents that live along the lines of the lake. For now, scientists are trying to figure out what's happening to the lake and how to prevent more air pollution.
And now about the esports on campus. After what seemed to be just an idea on paper 3 years ago, Concordia has established their esports team where students can take part in. Speaking in an off-camera interview, James Jahlek, who is the Associate Director of Academic and User Technology Services, ITS, said that, and I quote, "Just like any other pitching session, it was challenging to convince the board of the school, but other faculty members rallied behind me and we were able to," end of quote. He said, acknowledging the fact that although it took too long, it was worth it. Students have expressed their eagerness to be part of the esports team and said they look forward to playing for fun and competitively. Coach Kampvert said that he looks forward to his players competing with other colleges across the Midwest and across the country eventually. Echoing his words, Jehlik anticipates collaboration with other departments on campus, including the athletics and academic departments, to promote Concordia esports events.
Recently, DNA that dates back to over 2 million years ago has been found in Greenland. What was once a thriving ecosystem with trees and animals is now a desert that's almost void of life. Fossils aren't easy to find in this area, so researchers have started to extract environmental DNA from the sand and soil. The DNA showed similar traces of hares and reindeer, but didn't have any exact matches. Something surprising, however, was the DNA similarity to mastodon DNA, an animal that is now extinct and is a cross between an elephant and a mammoth. This DNA has scientists scratching their heads as they try to figure out what animal this DNA could have come from.
And the Fargo-Moorhead area education leaders addressing pressing issues on suffering shortage and other potential improvements across education. KVVR reported that the leaders talk about how education and businesses respond to workforce's demands and that needs to be done to meet current and future needs. Dr. Dennis Jonas said the director, or who is the director of the Cass County Career and Technical Education, says there are things employees can do for other employees for support, acknowledging the challenge faced with which he attributed to the shortage of staff, doing small things like trying to do a better job with monitoring, helping people feel welcome and support will give a huge return. The Chamber will gather in January would focus on fighting the stigma of the mental and behavioral health crisis.
2 weeks ago, at an LGBTQ+ nightclub in Colorado, there was a shooting that caused 5 people to lose their lives. 2 websites caused suspicion in the case and led to a new suspect in Anderson Aldrich, who is now facing charges. The websites in question were forum-based and allowed racist and anti-Semitic videos and blogs. Before the shooting, Aldrich made very racist and homophobic comments that has unfortunately left some of the onlookers feeling guilty for not stepping in and challenging those statements. However, it cannot be stated whether or not they could have been hurt for doing just that.
And now across the border, members of Congress in Peru have impeached President Pedro Castillo just hours after he said that he was going to dissolve the legislative body, BBC reports. In a fast-moving fight over who controls the country, Congress ignored the announcement by Mr. Castillo, who had said he was replacing Congress with the exemptional emergency government. His own vice president denounced Mr. Castillo's move as a coup d'etat. The head of the Constitutional Court said the move was an attempted coup. Mr. Castillo's move to rule by decree, ignoring Congress, was met with shock both in Peru. Several ministers resigned in protest and abroad. Peru has also gone through or will be going through a rocket political period with multiple presidentials ousted from office in recent years. That's all for news, and now for a package about pollinators in the garden.
You know, the process I found, I tried to use seeds first, and they didn't really grow up well because it's a small space. So then I bought these little plugs that you can get from companies that provide them, and just planted the plugs. Took out the grass first, put the plugs in, didn't have to amend the soil or anything, and then just kept some of the big weeds at bay and let it grow. Some other prairie plants we have called a cup plant. Every year at this time, the goldfinches will come and they'll sit on there and pick out the seeds and eat them. So there's a few weeks where the goldfinches are all on there eating the seeds. And so kind of can see how different birds and animals and insects make use of them at different types. So that's really why, it's just to create an environment that's more friendly to the other living things that are around us.
Residents like Ken have noticed the benefit of increased wildlife diversity upon establishing these gardens.
Yeah, so it's been great to see bees. My colleague Brian Bishop always tells me about bees, and now I've been able to see much more different types of bees. So, you know, coming out in the morning when the sun's on the plants, being able to see big ones, small ones, and you can really get up close to them.
Well, I'm Dr. Brian Bishop. I'm in the biology department, professor in the biology department. You know, it's fun to come out and watch, you know, just to see what insects are visiting, you know, and see their interactions.
It's like you're walking through some different habitats and seeing different kinds of places, because we have some that's an older prairie type, some that's a newer. There's other areas that are more of trees that we've planted. And so just the ability to just go out in this small yard and walk through little mini prairies has been a big benefit for us.
On the public side, there have also been efforts. Moorhead's smallest park, Daly Park, offers suitable pollinator habitat right in town.
All of that, it's trying to provide resources for pollinators, because unfortunately yards, just grass, is not a good resource. There's nothing there for them to eat. They've actually found that the diversity in urban areas, when people do have a lot of these, can actually be quite good for pollinators. It's higher than what we would normally expect for being an urban place.
Everybody, my name is Maya Lisney, and I am so happy to be here in the studio today with my good friend and the president of Concordia's Stand With Her, Olivia Slider. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm also doing well. I'm cold. I'm kind of stressed, but I mean, that's finals week at Concordia College. So we are so happy to have you here today because we just want to get to know a little bit about you and a little bit about the club that you recently created, Stand With Her. So before we dive into anything, do you want to tell us a little bit about what Stand With Her is?
Sure. So Stand With Her is the feminist organization on campus. We talk a lot about things around campus that we can improve. We talk, on our first meeting, I always ask everybody who their biggest feminist icon is. But really, it's just a safe space for people of all identities, whether you're a part of the LGBTQ+ community, any gender, race, whatever. Just, it's a safe space for everybody to feel welcome and at home at Concordia.
That is so awesome. So I do want to know, this is a fairly new club that has recently come around. In what year did you create it?
Last year.
Last year, yeah. So very new. I want to know, what inspired you to create a club? What sort of need did you see on campus that caused you to establish this group?
Sure. So last year, I was a freshman at Concordia. I came last fall.
I forget how young you are. It makes me feel so old every time. When you said you were 13 in 2015, 2016
yep.
Even, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, so last year I got to campus and I was super excited to sort of see what kind of clubs and organizations they had at Concordia. And when I was looking, I noticed that there wasn't really like an overall feminist organization. We had a couple within like certain departments, but nothing just overarching. And so eventually I was like, well, I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta.
Yeah,
and honestly. I mean, you're doing a dang good job at it, so I think it's worth it.
Yeah, so I kind of looked into the process and everything and got it going. I had a meeting with SGA. It was kind of like an interview process thing, really scary, but it was okay. And then I got an email a few weeks later saying that it was approved. So then we just kind of got started.
Yeah, so what does a typical event or any sort of meeting with Stand With Her look like? What sort of events do you do?
So last year we had a little bit of trouble getting started. We weren't on the room reservation list for the longest time for whatever reason, but this year...
Doesn't make things easier.
Yeah, for real. This year has been a lot better. We had our introductory meeting in September, and then since then we partnered with Planned Parenthood to pack care boxes for abortion patients, which was really fun. We've had like checkup meetings since then. We helped host Rovember. It was like the Roe v. Wade event in November. That,
yeah.
Grace Holverson helped a lot with that. Love Grace.
Grace. Shout out Grace Holverson.
Yeah, honestly. So we helped host that a little bit. Tomorrow, actually, we have a Stand With Her study hall. For anybody who needs an excuse to work on homework, like I know I do, there will be like hot chocolate and treats and stuff like that.
You had me at hot chocolate.
Honestly,
I'll be there. That's awesome.
So fun,
so for people who maybe don't have time out of their schedule to come to tomorrow's event, how can people get involved and connect with you guys to stay in touch for events next semester and beyond this week?
Sure. So we do have an Instagram. It's just standwithher.conco. We post all of our events and everything on there. You can DM us there if you want to be added to the email list, but you don't have to be on the email list to show up to meetings. There's like no real time commitment. Anybody's welcome any of the time. but we do have a couple of events planned for next semester already.
All right, let's hear it.
Last week we were supposed to host a guest speaker to talk about body image, but we actually had to reschedule it. So we're hoping to have that pretty soon after Christmas break.
Awesome.
So we'll have that to look forward to. And then we are also hoping to get together with Planned Parenthood again. I have the contact of who we need to get in contact for with that. And then I also have the contact information of like the feminist organization at MSUM and NDSU.
Little tri-college action there.
So
Love
we'll
it.
see what we can do with them. And then Women and Gender Studies Department has reached out, so we'll hopefully be able to collaborate with them next semester.
Awesome.
It'll be fun.
That'll be really cool. So before we close this out, I do want to know, you mentioned earlier, one of the first questions you asked the members of the club is, who is your feminist icon? And the entire time I've just been thinking, I want to know, who is your feminist icon, Olivia?
Oh gosh, well, it's always hard for me to just
I know,
choose
you can't just pick one. I mean, and that's not a bad thing. I'm happy that there's so many incredible women to choose from.
Yeah, I think I would say in my personal life, it's definitely my sister and my mom. Yeah, on a grander scale, I would say Ruth Bader Ginsburg for sure and Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Megan Thee Stallion. That's
Period.
my answer.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming into the studio today.
thank
I
you
was
for
really
having
happy to
me.
get to chat with you and get to share a little bit more about this new club on campus. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your break. Or rather, full rest of your week before the break. Jump the gun a little bit. I just am so ready to be done. But now we are not done yet. We are almost done. But we're going to send it over to Arts and Entertainment, to Jackson and Michael, or Michael Jackson, as I call them. And we're going to get to see a little bit of a review of the pop culture of 2022.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Arts and Entertainment. Oh no, Mikey had to go to the bathroom. What are we gonna do? Oh no, how are we going to do 2022? A year in review. You may be wondering, what's going on in this image? Well, you see, Santa Claus has just entered this person's home, and he's looking at this list, and he's like, what's going on here? What's going on? There's Kanye West, there's Mia Goth, there's Tom Cruise, legendary Stranger Things villain Vecna. Spoiler alert, also known as Number One. The show came out like 5 months ago.
I haven't finished it yet, Jackson!
And then Wordle. Everybody loves Wordle. Wordle both rose this year and also died this year. Who does Wordle? It's almost 2023.
That's actually true. Who does?
Who's Wordling every day?
I'll tell you what, Wordle did inspire a lot of other things like what, Framed?
Framed. The music one.
The music one, that one's good. I really like doing that one, the music one.
There's so many. I have a little folder on my phone that I can't access anymore because I don't use the little shortcuts on the home screen anymore. And I haven't touched them in a long time, so now they're just dead. They turned gray.
Oh, God.
It's like they went to the upside down.
I didn't know. Like Vecna! Like Vecna!
Vecna.
Stranger Things, Vecna!
Vecna.
Vecna, Stranger Things!
You
What
thought
else we got? Have you talked about that fella? Do we need to talk about that?
Kanye West has a new fashion sense.
I miss the old Kanye.
We
if I'm
can't
being
say anything
honest.
about it. I think we'll get taken down on YouTube.
Yeah.
But Kanye West, probably not a good guy. If you're really interested and you're sick in the head, go on InfoWars and look at that video
he's
he did.
spewing some pretty hateful stuff.
Yep,
It's kind of
but
dangerous.
We don't recommend it.
No.
Bad
We do
guy.
not, here at Court on Air, we don't support Kanye West and his current behavior.
I saw some of you loyal viewers, your Spotify Wraps, they had Kanye West on there.
Weird.
Get him off of there.
Weird.
He should not be your most listened to artist.
Don't support
home.
bad people.
Moving down the list, we've got Tom Cruise. Why is Tom Cruise there?
We know why Tom Cruise is.
Tom Cruise, he topped that gun. He flew.
Yeah, he did. Get him, Maverick.
He flew
Get him, Maverick.
so good.
I love Top Gun.
Top Gun's not your normal movie.
Gun's getting topped. Tom Cruise
By Maverick.
cruising.
It's not like the I'm gonna do this one last time type reboot that they always do. This is this is just this guy. He's like, my job is a pilot. Let me be pilot.
I'm gonna go fly my plane.
Yeah.
Film me.
They battle the terrible forces of Alaska. They don't tell you what nation it is, so I just assumed.
They didn't in the first either,
Yeah.
because America at the time did not have a big bad aside from the constant, especially in that time period, the constant threat of the Middle East. So they
Would you like to hear my theory about Top Gun?
Yeah.
I really want to do it on a public platform. So in between the events of the first Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick, Alaska seceded from the Union and became an enemy of the United States. And the country that they are attacking in Top Gun Maverick is the nation of Alaska, which is why they have the Top Gun, the first film era fighter jets just hanging out in a hangar, because they used to be the United States. So it makes sense in their Air Force base. They have
do you think
Air
Alaska
Force...
is just a completely separate nation now?
Yes.
Or you think like Russia is taking them over?
No, Alaska's a completely separate nation.
How are they such a threat that we need to send
It's not
the
funny.
Tom Cruise Top Gun Maverick?
It's not funny if it's Russia controlling them. It's funnier if it's just Alaska.
Yeah,
which
I agree.
makes sense why they only send like 10 pilots anyway. You know, they're like, it's just Alaska. We're not too worried. Like, they're really close to us, so we're worried, but we're not worried enough to just send a whole armada. We're going to send Tom Cruise and his best pals.
Yeah, and his unaligned teeth. I shouldn't talk about other people's physical appearance.
Tom Cruise's best friend is an odometer. That's a joke that you will only get if you know who
Kevin's
the
laughing.
star. Yep,
Kevin thought it was funny.
Kevin, fun fact, auditioned for that role.
Did he really?
Yeah,
I believe it.
They were like, "You're too old. Go home."
They said Kevin Bacon was too old?
Yep. Moving down the list, we've got on the list, we've got X, Mia Goth. She was in 2 movies this year in the same universe, the X-matic universe.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's
The Mia
just,
Gothiverse?
I think it's just called X and Pearl. Pearl is the other movie. She plays 2 roles in X, and then in Pearl, she drops it down to just 1, the title character.
Pearl.
She was like, I did too much work in X. I'm going to kick back and relax a bit and just be in every scene of the movie.
I haven't seen either film. I'm trying to think back. I feel like all these things are pretty recent in 2022. They did Surgery on a Grape.
That's a lie.
They did Surgery on a Grape.
That's a lie.
What else happened in 2022? Like early? I'm trying to think like January.
January of 2022.
remember.
I completely forgot. In March, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Did you guys hear about this?
Whoa.
Will Smith.
Why'd you do it,
smacked
Will?
Chris Ross. I can't. There's a meme. I can't finish it. I can't. They'll take us off the air.
Oh. Mikey knows things.
I know jokes.
You may be wondering, why is there this weird Santa Claus image in the background? Well, I thought he looked kind of shocked at the list, so I was like, imagine if we just threw a ton of shocking things you wouldn't expect on a Christmas list.
Yeah, like
But
a car battery.
We also got 2 Santa Clauses this year.
Excuse me, our in-house, one of our in-house producers here is reminding us that the Queen, in fact, died.
The Queen did
this
die.
year, and we completely forgot about that.
Well, she's not art or entertainment, so
well,
didn't make the cut.
she's royalty. Oh,
She was on the news. She was on the news.
You know what else happened in 2022? I learned this joke. Can I tell it to you?
Sure.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Dwayne.
Dwayne who?
Dwayne the Tub, I'm Dwayne.
Back to the 2 Santa Clauses. There's 2 Santa Clauses. Both Tim Allen, he's back on Disney Plus.
Have you seen, there's the official Santa Claus TikTok account prompted people to ask questions about the new film. And what they did is they would highlight those questions and have Tim Allen respond to them, but it's not Tim Allen responding to them. It's pre-recorded messages. So it's like this really intricate question, and then he goes, "Oh, love it, thanks." It's oh my gosh, it's such a PR blunder.
I wish I had TikTok so I could see that. I deleted TikTok, fun fact.
Me too. I wish I had TikTok so you could follow me.
Just like we're being deleted off the air for 2022.
No more Court on Air. We'll see. Maybe
canceled.
we'll return in 2023.
Hopefully. Please watch the show so we get renewed.
Yeah, maybe new
Hashtag
credits.
renew Court on Air.
Bye, Mom.
Netflix, please. We know you're out there. Pick us up. Goodbye.